They are. I know that they're really excited. I talked to Amelia a little bit on the phone the other day, and her and Scott are both very excited, and they hope people will come out to the sale, of course, for the Longhorn sale, but then also just to see part of the Pacific Northwest as well.
I know that we're not supposed to have a favorite sale, but this is definitely one of my top sales that I look forward to just because it's so different to go to that part of the country, to go to Oregon, to the coast, to the inland, and then also get to see longhorns, which we all enjoy. It's just something I think that every year when I get there, it just hits me how kind of unexpected it is that, you know, we're outside of Texas or Oklahoma or even the East Coast. It's just such a different environment.
It is. It's very different out there. And all while doing all of that, you can sit back and enjoy the view from anywhere with a good glass of wine because it's in wine country.
Yes, we should have had some for today's podcast. That would have been a perfect fit.
It would have. Let's see what Amelia and Scott have to say.
Hi, I'm Molly.
And I'm Jamie, and this is our From the Pasture with Hired Hand podcast. As the owners of Hired Hand website software, we've been developing websites and creating internet marketing strategies for livestock breeders for the past 10 years.
The majority of our customers are involved in the breeding of registered animals, such as Texas Longhorns, Highland cattle, horses, and white-tailed deer, where the pedigrees are very important. The From the Pasture with Hired Hand podcast examines many of the differences in raising pedigreed livestock for maximum profit. Join us and learn what we're covering today. In today's episode, we'll be talking with Scott and Amelia Picker from A&S Land and Cattle Company, who raise longhorns near Portland, Oregon, and are the sale hosts for the new Oregon Trail Sale. Hi, Scott and Amelia. Thanks for joining us today.
Hi.
Hi.
So can you tell us all the dates of your sale this year?
Yeah, we're starting the sale on Friday. We're having a top 10 sale Friday, June 12th. And on Saturday, June 13th, we'll have the larger sale.
Very nice. And it's at your ranch, right?
Yeah, our ranch is in Dundee, Oregon, and we put up a new facility for this. We kind of had it in mind years ago when Daniel had mentioned he needed a bigger facility for the Fey Sale.
Mm-hmm. So you mentioned Daniel. Can you give everyone a little the history of the sale?
Yeah, I actually talked to Daniel about this sale a while back, but he had taken over the sale from the Northwest Longhorn Association. People were starting to kind of drop out of working with that. The Northwest Longhorn Association had put up on a West Coast sale from 2008 to 2011. And in 2011, Daniel took it over. He added one more sale that year, the same year, and he's done that for the last 8 years. So he said it's time to pass the baton. We're taking it over.
So tell us a little bit about why you got started in Longhorns and what made you decide that you were ready to take over the sale.
Well, we got started in Longhorns. We had a little bit of property. Scott grew up with cows, and we were looking for a registered breed to have so we wouldn't, just be all about the meat production, although that is a benefit. And we decided on a breed, and it was a polled breed, so I'd never have to dehorn, and couldn't find it. We couldn't find them anywhere in Oregon or Washington, and didn't really realize how easy it was to get cows from places like Texas and the Midwest. So Scott started searching Craigslist and found a little herd of Longhorns in Newburgh, which is only 5 minutes away. So we went and looked at the herd. It was a bull, 2 cows, and their calves, and I was sold. They were not fabulous Longhorns in the realm of what we're raising now, but they were a cute little herd and very sweet cows. So I brought them home and just kind of fell in love and started improving the genetics from there. And I don't have to dehorn. So that was my whole reason for going polled. So if I don't have to dehorn Longhorns, I'll take those. So that was about 8 years ago now, I think, maybe.
Yeah, about that. We've really improved since then, just like everybody else. When they first get started, you kind of start with what you think is really cool, and then you realize, oh, those weren't so great after all. But I guess that's the nature of the beast. Well, the same is true of the sale. I think we were at first intimidated by taking this on, but we kind of took more of an active role in helping Daniel and Angelina Fey over the last couple of years in some sponsoring and some setup and all those kind of things. And it came to the point where Daniel and Angelina said either you're going to host the sale or it's going to go away. And so then we had to do some serious thinking about it. But then when you have people like Lauren and Kathy Dorothy calling you saying, you better not let this drop, then we kind of felt like, okay, we can do it because we have people's support behind us too. And it is important not to let a sale go that's so geographically segregated from everything else. So it made perfect sense to go ahead and try it. I'm a businessman. I know how to organize things. We have a lot of manpower. So we thought, all right, if we're going to take it on, let's take it on taking it over.
Are you having a futurity this year with your sale?
Yes, we are going to continue the futurity that Daniel and Angelina started. Heifers, mostly. We may have some bulls depending on what the interest is in that.
Okay. And the deadline to turn in the futurity entries?
I believe it's April 1st. We're still getting stuff together on that.
Okay. And I think if I remember right, the deadline for the sale entries, was that March 1st?
It's March 1st, correct.
Okay.
That way, people have time to get the magazine out or the catalog out there and make it look sharp.
Mm-hmm. And are you all having a social? I know Daniel in the past has had wine tours and things. Are you guys having a social this year?
Yes, we have a couple of things planned. One, we will continue the wine tour. We used to be the host of the wine tour, so we're pretty familiar with how well that went over. So we're going to be doing that. We're also adding a catered dinner on Friday night. One of our friends has a portable pizza oven where he'll do bacon wrapped scallops and things like that. So we're pretty excited about anytime about food and wine. We get pretty excited. So we'll be doing that as well. And then we'll have a top 10 sale that night on Friday night, which is kind of different than most people do. Just 10 cows on Friday night and then dinner right afterward.
Very nice. And then this year, the auctioneer is going to be Bruce McCarty, correct?
Yes, we are so excited that Bruce was interested in coming to Oregon. So he and Lori are both coming. They're going to help us run the sale, and hopefully it'll go very smoothly with them in the charge.
Is there any other staff that you want to mention that'll help? It's going to be helping out during the sale?
Well, we're still working on the pedigree reader. We know that Justin Rombeck has expressed some interest. I think we're probably going to go that route. He's very familiar with all of the pedigrees, which is kind of nice. We did try to get Dale Hunt, but he's kind of cutting back. So we're just trying to get the right people in that work well together. That way we have a very successful sale.
Good. It sounds like you've got a good start at that. And we know Oregon is in the Pacific Northwest, and it's beautiful up there. So hopefully everyone can make plans to attend. But if they can't attend, Higher Hand Live will be there, so they can jig via the internet if they wanted to as well.
That's correct. And then the other thing that we've put into place is we are kind of creating hubs of transportation because we know we're out here ways. To encourage people to buy, we're setting up a hub in Kansas and a hub in Texas where Ron Bailey will haul from Texas and back, and then Joe Sedlicek, sorry, I know I butchered his name, will haul from Kansas and back.
That's awesome. That's a huge advantage for people buying remotely.
So you all mentioned a little bit about the history of the sale, and you pointed out some things that you're changing. Is there anything else we haven't covered that you're changing for this year's sale that you would like people to know? Well,
we've worked quite a bit with Daniel and said, if you were to start over again and change up the sale, what would you do? And this is the opportunity. I don't want people to think this is a new sale just being put out there, because I know the general consent was that there's too many sales. This is kind of taking the Fey Sale and giving it a new, fresh look and kind of doing all the positive things that have happened in the past and then adding to it. So that was been our goal throughout the entire process. Daniel said, hey, we need a spark of enthusiasm and some more firepower behind it. And so that's what we hope we are offering in conjunction with them.
So I know it's a little early, but are you able to tell me about some of your consigners?
Yeah, we've got quite a few already, we're limiting this to 50 consignments. And we only, I think, we put it online last Friday, and we're more than halfway there already, which was kind of cool. That was a surprise to me, like how easy it would be to get consigners, even in Texas and in Kansas. But a couple of them that came out right away. Gilliland Ranch was a cool surprise. They got a hold of us. They wanted to come to Oregon and see what it was all about. I love their cows. Warren and Kathy Dorothy are the ones responsible for making us take on this sale. They gave us a call and said, if you take it on, we promise to bring great stuff for you. And they've come through for us. Another one down in California was Lucas Ranch. I talked to Mike and Kat Lucas and said, hey, we're going to be putting this on. We want really high quality stuff. They've got a couple of heifers they're putting in that are just incredible. Tim Clark, kind of a newer guy in Oregon, but we're also trying to focus on the Northwest too, getting those in. But Tim has done a great job of putting together a herd, and he's finally got some nice heifers to put in as well. Alex Dees, Justin Rombeck, Bob Larson's going to put in some embryos for us, and those are going to be great. He always does a good job with those. Oh, and A&S Land and Cattle, they have an incredible herd, I hear. To mention Fey, Longhorns, they will have quite a few consignments as well.
Love what you're hearing? Be sure to check out our Pickup Truck Confessions. It's a video series where we hop in the truck or rental car and interview a variety of breeders about what drives their passion for their livestock, how they got started in the breed of their choice, marketing tips, and more. And now, back to the podcast.
So can you tell us who some of your standout consignments might be?
So as far as individual cattle, we don't know all the names. They haven't been submitted yet. We just got a commitment from the different ranches about numbers and trying to put that together right now. Amelia and I had a lot of sit-downs in front of our hired hand website. Oh, by the way, shameless plug. But going over our cattle, trying to figure out what we wanted quality-wise, and we knew we wanted to put some good stuff in. So she and I have finally agreed to give up at least a couple of our favorites.
Well, tell us a little bit about which ones those are.
So one of my favorites, and it's actually one that we have our brand on, which is kind of exciting because we just think we've come a long way. And this one, we really wanted to put stuff around it, but she just had she has a sister now, and we still help her mom. But it's A&S Foxy 50/50, so she's a 50/50 daughter, and by Renegade's Fox, which is one of my favorite black and white cows. But this girl's got horn. She's a big-bodied one. She's just a sweetheart in the field too. So that's one of the ones that I had to give up.
Sounds like she'll be hard to part with.
Yeah, we really like her. We hope that people see that when they see the catalog. She's pretty impressive.
What about you, Amelia? Did you have to part with any of your favorites?
Oh, yes. So a couple years back, we bought a beautiful speckled up paint heifer. I mean, or cow. She's just gorgeous. She gave us a beautiful heifer to replace her, so I reluctantly agreed to let Sweet Dreams go. She's from Buffalo Gap Longhorns down in Texas, and she's just stunning out in the field. I was like, I'm going to miss her, but I know she'll go to a good home, so I reluctantly agreed to put her in the catalog.
What can people from out of the area kind of expect if it's their first time coming to Oregon?
June is one of the best times to visit Oregon. I mean, the summer starts, and then we get a little dry after that, but in June, everything's beautiful and green. The weather's usually perfect. Occasionally, we can get a rainy day in June, but it's a nice, mild summer weather. There's the beach not too far away. The Oregon Gardens are close by. Of course, we're in the middle of wine country, so there's tons of wineries to visit. If you like to go hiking, there's tons of hiking to do in our area. Even our ranch, we've just moved last year. We're on 320 acres now, so there's lots of wildlife here to see, and it's just a beautiful country. If you haven't been to Oregon, we'd highly recommend at least coming by for a visit.
No, I was going to say, I'll second that. Oregon, the first time we went to Oregon to the Fey Sale, I was pleasantly surprised. I don't know what I was expecting from Oregon. But when we got there, it was beautiful. And Oregon is one of our favorite sales every year because we get to go to the coast. It's so green, and then you're in wine country. It's a lot of fun. We really enjoy it.
The nice part is in Oregon, like from where we're at, the coast is an hour away. Mount Hood is an hour away. So people that really like hiking, I mean, you can be from the highest point in Oregon to sea level in, a 2-hour period. It's crazy. And meanwhile, there's open, vast areas on the eastern side, but on the west side, it's heavily treed and green and lush.
Maybe we'll have to try hiking this year, Molly. That's one thing we haven't done yet.
With all the food we're offering, we'll offer a hike. It's a 3-mile hiking path around the farm. We'll get you guys going on that.
So I know we've talked about how the coast is close. You have Mount Hood really close. For those people who will be flying in, I'm assuming most everyone will probably fly into Portland. And Portland is not too far from the ranch. I think if I remember right, it's maybe half hour, 45 minutes.
About 45 minutes.
So it's really close, and there's lots of things to do in Portland. Especially, I know there's lots of coffee, lots of food to choose from. So, and then the other thing for people who are coming in, where would you recommend that they stay?
So we're trying to put together a hotel deal with either Red Lion or a Best Western. They're both about 15 minutes away from our farm for people to stay. But if people are coming through Portland and they get in kind of late, there's tons of little boutique hotels there that are fairly reasonable. For about $100 a night, you can get a nice hotel. Lots of great restaurants in Portland, just like you mentioned. There's also a lot of weird people that you can do some weird watching. That is keeping Portland weird, right?
I think they compete with Austin for the keep Austin weird and keep Portland weird.
I think there's a competition between those two, for sure. If anyone needs a tattoo, that would be a great place to go. Get a tattoo at a reasonable rate. Lots of great tattoo artists, apparently. One of the fun things that I know my kids love to do when we go into Portland is there's a place called Voodoo Donuts. And when you talk about weird places, it's kind of an Elvis-themed old donut place. And, man, they have great donuts in there. They're pretty unique. It's definitely Portland. Amelia might have.
Dee and I actually went there last year.
Yeah, it was a couple of years ago. And then last year we found some other donut place. So there's definitely not a shortage of donuts in Portland, and they were all delicious.
Yeah, awesome.
And if you don't want to go all the way into Portland, I think we saw one in the airport too, right?
That's correct. Yeah, I think it's called Blue Star was probably the other one you went to. That's really good. Yeah.
Yep, that was the one. Yeah.
But there's a lot of nice restaurants. There's a lot of food carts, which is kind of a relatively new within the last 10 years. It's become very popular through Portland. So if you want a quick bite, there's also a lot of those. And I mean, there's 30 food carts in one little section, one block of Portland. You can pretty much get any kind of food you want.
Well, again, we're excited. We hope more people will come to Oregon in June. But thanks again, guys, for joining us today.
You bet. Thank you.
Thanks for having us.